Hello and welcome to this webinar. Today I'm going to talk about the new release, SAP Field Service Management. The release is called 2308. And I will be accompanying you on the left-hand corner, so you can also see me while I'm presenting this webinar to you. My name is Bernard Weiersmüller, and I'm happy to present the most exciting features of the new release in the next couple of minutes, the next around 20 minutes. So what is new in the SAP Field Service Management Release 2308? The agenda for today is as follows. I'm going to talk about some features in the planning board. Then there is a little update on side of the cruise, two new features in the service map area, and then towards the end, a very interesting option for the mobile with an HTML report around activities. And the last topic is the shell, where you can finally also use your own pictures as backgrounds and logos. I'm going to start with the first new feature, the planning board. And there we will see a new thing called the planning horizon, where you can finally now extend it up to 12 months. Also, there is a display of the number of filtered objects available. So when you select the filter, you will see the number that has been selected. And another one, which I personally like the most, is the planning board refresh, which is much faster than before. So let us jump now into the planning board and look at these three new options. I'm going to open the planning board. Here it is. First of all, make sure that you have set your system to preview. You can see the preview mode has been enabled up here. If it's not enabled, you will have to enable it by clicking on this icon here and then go to preview program and then make sure you enable it. If you have enabled it, then you will see that the upper part, the timeline, has a little bit of changed appearance. For example, you will not see the service map icon anymore because it's already there on the left-hand side. So why put it two times? It has been removed from this place. Then the planning horizon can be now selected from 1 day up to 1 year. If you put it to 1 year, you will be able to horizontally filter through or scroll through the days and then select the corresponding day. To be able to select up to 1 year, although interestingly, you will have to go into settings and change a setting. It's over here. You go to settings and configuration. Then you go down to the UI settings. You select the pencil, and then you have the maximum planning horizon, where you can select what's your maximum planning horizon. Then you enable it, and you refresh the planning board, and you will see the new maximum planning horizon. So if you don't see the full year, make sure you have set it in the settings. Next, the filters you have up here will show the number of entries which were filtered. In this case, I have no filtering. I should see 42 resources here in my list. And when I then start filtering, for example, also through a view, I get the number of entries. In this case, my team A consists of these 5 entries, and then I can see the number here. So this gives me a nice overview how many entries I have. Last but not least, we have the fast refresh. That's this button up here. So let's first use, without this button here, the refresh function of the browser. Clicking on it will take a couple of seconds until the full planning board has been refreshed. You see it's still refreshing, and it just takes a couple of seconds and could be a bit annoying if you want to quickly refresh the planning board. Okay, here we go. But now, sit back and see how long it takes. I press here, that was it. You see, 1 or 2 seconds, and the planning board, the timeline has been refreshed. So make sure you use that when you just want to update quickly the latest changes on the planning board. Let us then go back to our next option in the planning board, and that is the export of planning lists, service call lists, and activity lists. Yes, you can do that also through the query API, but then you will have to write the query. You will have to maybe write some filtering criteria. And here it's much easier by just using a filter and then clicking on the export button, and already you have it in Excel format. You can then simply further process it later on in other tools. Let's have a look in the system. I'm going into my planning board, and first of all, this is the planning list down here. Currently, I have 4 unplanned service calls, and I would like to export that list. So what I do is simply click this export button, and I get an exported Excel sheet with all the needed information from the planning list inside it. So I'm going to open it, and you see all these entries with all the columns selected. You can do the same if you go to service calls list. Also here, you have the button up here, and vice versa on the activities list, it's the same thing. Make sure you take with you that also the filtering will be having an effect. So if you filter here and reduce the number of calls, also only that reduced list gets exported. So what you see is what you get. Our next topic is around crews. There is only a slight update, but it's welcome. Well, for those who don't know, what is a crew? A crew is the same actually as a team. A team is a number of people, technicians, who work together on a given job. But it's a more static thing. A team is rather static in time and doesn't change very often. On the other hand, a crew will change, for example, daily. And for each day, you will have a calendar where you can specify who is the team leader or the crew leader and the members of the crew. And each day you can change that. What we now get is a bit more information about the technicians, the pictures of the technicians, and also you should be able to change the crew picture. Currently, changing the crew picture doesn't seem to work if you have a Business One company in the back end. I have opened some tickets at SAP to fix that, but let's quickly have a look how it presents itself currently. To go to the crews, you will have to go into master data, and then there is the menu crews on the left. All right, now I want to change the icon. I will click on the edit button over here, and I get this pencil. And I can then upload an image, which should not be bigger than 1 megabyte in size. I can also delete the image from here. I told you that the crew image doesn't work for Business One companies. Also, there is a little issue when you go to the planning board, and the crew picture currently is also not showing there. So 2 little problems, but I get the idea that SAP is working on it, and it should be fixed hopefully soon. You see, picture is currently not showing in my account. Also, going back to the crews, which I did not yet show, is you can also look at the technicians and their pictures. So you see visually, if you click on assigned people here, you will see, for example, for today, we have the lead Abby Bootsman, the member Brian Paulson with its pictures, and you can also click on a corresponding technician, get the details of that technician, and if you want to click on open details, it will jump into the master data, the record for this technician, and open it in your browser. Let us go back to the next option, and that is the service map. I'm pleased to tell you that again, we have some nice little updates in the area of the service map. The first one is about manual adjustments of activities of a given technician. It's one step further or closer to the planning experience that you have in the planning board, and we are getting closer to this goal again with this new feature. Let me show you by going to the service map. As mentioned at the beginning, there is no more icon if you switch to preview for the service map. So what you will have to do to go to the service map is use the link here on the left-hand side. Opening the map, going to a technician's sidebar, clicking on the technician, and we will see, for example, Abby Boothman's schedule with these 2 jobs for today. Now we need to change something, let's say the duration. You can just use the mouse and click. It's a bit tricky. Okay, I got it. And change the activity duration like that. It will also then update the planning board very fast. Feature number 2 for the service map is around locations. You can now use a search for locations or anything you can also do in Google Maps. So you could also find restaurants or companies or such things if they are in Google Maps, and you don't have to leave the app to do that search like before. Let me show you. Going back to the map, you will see now the search up here. Currently, you can only search for locations. I'm assuming there will be more possible searches in the future, but for now, we can search for a location. So let's search for any location. Let's search for Hawaii in the US. I would like to go there. It's probably nice and warm. Okay, so now I have found Hawaii. But if you're hungry, you could also look for a restaurant. For example, Restaurant Hubert in Sydney. If you're interested to do a trip over there. Yeah, nice and easy location search in the map. Let's leave the service map and continue with our next topic for the mobile. On the mobile, we have a new report available called a HTML report for activities, which can come from multiple service calls, but don't have to. The idea is that you go into the activity list on the mobile, and then you will group the activities, for example, by business partner or by location or by service call or whatever is there. And you can then easily create the report, which will group then these activities which have been selected into one single report. The good thing is that this is also an HTML report, means it's rather simple to set up because there is also a template available in the help portal by SAP, and it works offline being HTML reports. So by clicking on that link here, I will jump over to the help portal of SAP, and you can then look at this template here. It's this zip file which you need to download, and then you follow the instructions here in the setup section, upload HTML report. And if you have done that, you're already finished. Let's have a look onto the mobile, how this will present itself. To do so, I'm gonna share my mobile screen to you. All right. Now I go into the list of activities. In my case, I have defined a shortcut. I'm clicking on the shortcut to go into the list of activities. Now I have the option to group. That's nothing new. So I can go here. I can group, for example, by business partner, by equipment, by service call. Let's group by business partner. Done. And it will show me a list grouped by business partner. So for example, you see I have 4 calls for AQA systems. Now let's create a report for these 4 activities which don't belong to the same service call. I'm gonna use the context menu up here to select print and send. It will reveal this list, so I can now select from the corresponding options or activities. So I will select the ones, for example, from AQA systems. But I could also select more from other business partners if I like. Click the Save button up there, and it will use now my freshly created report template, which I created and uploaded before. And now this is providing me an offline report with the grouped activities for business partner AQA systems. You see, we have the activities here, and they are now grouped here, and one appears after the other on my report. This is a pretty good feature and I like it very much, so make sure you try it out. Well, this leads me to the last feature I want to show today, and that's the shell, how to use your own logos and pictures like background images. You will do that by uploading your pictures through FSM admin, and you then go into your company in the menu company information. This makes sure that you can adapt FSM a bit to your customer's design by showing his pictures and showing his logos on the screen. There is documentation around it, especially about the sizes of the pictures and how many pixels are optimum and or maximum, and also you see the maximum of the picture size is 1 megabyte, and these are the formats accepted. Let us have a look by going into the planning board and look at the pictures that I have here. To do so, I'm going to switch to my other company where I have uploaded a number of pictures. Well, first of all, going to the main screen, I can see this picture here, which is the background, browser background picture. Then I have the icon for the app up here. And I have also selected a browser tab icon here, so I can also change that one there. Doing this is easy. You will have to go into the account in administration, go to your company. In this case, it's this one here. And then click on company information. And in here, I can see my company logos. If you click on upload, you can then upload all these different icons. The mobile browser, I'm not sure why it's here, because I don't think personally the mobile browser is very useful for FSM, because, for example, the planning board is not really supported on tablets. But yeah, it's mostly probably if you want to just look at things, then you can use it. And also there you could change some icons. So that does not mean that these icons are made for the mobile app. All right, that was my last feature for FSM. What I also would like to share with you is on the last page here is about the maintenance mode. SAP has put Project Planner since quite some time, and just recently customer self-service into maintenance mode. Some of you might be surprised by that move, but it's a decision by SAP to do so. What that means is that these two products are still there in the product, they are still staying around, but they will not get new features or any updates in the future anymore, while support is still guaranteed on these features. To me, this leads to the conclusion that I would take a step away from these two tools in order not to get lost in the future if SAP will stop these two products. But for now, no worries, there is still support, just no more new features on those. Good, all right, that is the end of today's presentation. Do you have any questions? No questions. Then I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to share with me the latest features. And I will then later on also upload the recording, as always, into our YouTube channel, and you can then watch it from there. Thank you very much. See you next time. Have a good time. Bye-bye.